Good morning. Welcome to Trading with Goals. So I'm gonna show you guys today how to use the 1 hour. I've trained about this before. I'm just gonna reiterate it today, how to use the 1 hour chart to know how to the direction or the trend of the stock. So the problem with my trading view, I can't draw the lines. I don't know what happened to that chart of mine. If I draw lines, they keep appearing. So I'm going to use my Weeble. And I'm just going to show from with SPY. I'm going to go back last week, 24th. Okay, so Monday. So the 1 hour chart is very important. Sometimes it gives most of the time, if you're using it, it can give you, if a trade is the first hour, not the 1 hour, the first hour of trading, when the market opens, the first hour is very important. It can give you direction for that day and also the following day. So what you do, so I'm going to use SPY and see on Monday, what you're going to do. The first hour, you draw a line on the high and the low, okay? So you want to know if that day, that stock is trading below the high, below the low of the first hour or above the high. If it's below, you're expecting a breakdown. If it's above, you're expecting a breakout. So you're looking at that level. It's gonna also guide you for the next day, or even sometimes help you to know when to swing. Okay, so for instance here, so you draw your line, the first hour, you draw your line at the top. This is the first hour, yeah. So you draw your line at the top. Did I? Good. No. Where is that? So horizontal line, you draw at the top, and then this is the first hour candle. So at the top of the first hour, and then at the bottom of the first hour candle, okay? So that's the first hour from 9:30 to 10:30. When the market opens up to 10:30, that's the first hour candle. Then the next hour, you want to see if that stock, whatever stock you're looking at, is not going to break above that first hour high. Then if it's creating a lower high like you're seeing here, then it means it's going to go down back to the low. And that's what SPY did, went to the low and even broke below it. Okay, so this is how it's guiding you to know what to trade for that day. Okay, so if it's not going to break above the first hour high, then it means you're looking at it going down to the first hour low and even going low below it. So you always, when you're using this, you always have to have a target level, because you want to know if it's breaking below the first hour low, where is it going? Okay, so that's then the next day, if you're seeing that stock is not doing like SPY, the first hour was an indecision candle, especially if the first hour is an indecision candle. It means high chances are that whole day you might have indecision. So this is why we saw it go up and then come down. So it's very important what happens to the first hour. If it's an indecision candle, in most cases, you might get indecision for that day. Okay? And what is an indecision candle? Is any candle, whether red or green, with a wick at the top and wick at the bottom. It's indecision. So we had an indecision candle. The rest of the day, we went up, then we came down. This day was indecision. We went down, then we came up. This first hour indecision, we went down, went up. So basically, the first hour determines what, most cases, what to expect for the rest of the day, okay? So if you see indecision here went sideways, indecision here, it created a lower high, then came down, indecision here, like that until yesterday, okay? So I'm gonna delete this line and see. So this is the difference. Yesterday, we had a strong bullish candle. So you draw your line the first hour. If you have a strong bullish candle, because it's already indicating to you that you might, there are 99.99 chance that you're gonna be bullish for the rest of the day. So you draw your line here at the low of the first hour candle, and then you draw another line at the top, okay? Okay, so that's the first hour. If that stock is rejecting the low of the first hour, and then it's going up and breaking above the high, then it means you're expecting this gonna be a bullish, you know, a continuation, and that's what happened the whole day, okay? So that first hour, you want to know what type of a candle it is. Sometimes we have a strong bullish candle, and then we have that stock going down. But it's just giving you what to anticipate for the rest of the day. So if it's above the minute it crossed above 545, it was telling you this stock is the intention. Yeah, SPY wanted to go up, and that's what we saw SPY doing, went up, okay? So any stock you're trading or looking at, that first hour, very important. So we can look at another stock like Netflix. I draw lines a lot because they do help, okay? So you can see here, so this is an example of a bearish day. We had a strong, there's no weak, okay? The first hour, there's no weak. So you're drawing a line at the top and then another line at the bottom, okay? If that stock on the pullback, it is not going to the top of the line, then it means it's indicating you're expecting a bearish day. And we went on dropping lower for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive 1 hour candles, okay? Now you're seeing here indecision, the rest of the day we were sideways. This is indecision, we went up and then we came down. This is when we had a strong candle, bullish candle the first hour, but we barely, so if we move this line here, and then the top of the line here, okay. So the top of the week, we had a strong bullish candle, but look at this, the second hour, it barely touched the first hour high. The third hour barely touched. The next hour is when it touched, but clearly after the second hour, if it's not breaking above the first hour high, it's already telling you what to anticipate. This stock is struggling, and that's what it did the whole day. It went sideways, okay? If you look on this day, indecision, and then indecision, and then we kept going down, okay? So if it's indecision, the first, so this day we had that high and that was the low. Now, if the second hour, this stock is not breaking that level, the third hour barely breaking it, we went, we continued going down, but we didn't make the same range. We were not making strong range candles like here because we had indecision the first hour, indecision the second hour. So when you see indecision, it's clearly telling you what to anticipate for that day, okay? If it's indecision and then you have a strong candle, as long as it's not creating those huge ranges, yeah, we were bullish here, this day we were bullish, but it's not, look at this first hour, it was indecision. Whenever you see the first hour is indecision, yes, we might go up, but you might not get those clean bullish candles. Like here, we had a another one going up, we went up, then a doji, then barely broke the range of this candle. Okay, so that first hour, whatever stock, so let's see Tesla. Tesla, I have lines and I'm not deleting them because those lines are there to stay. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is, I know. So this is the first hour candle. It was a strong bullish candle. Okay. I don't want to draw a line. So let me draw a line. So this was the first hour, is it? Another color. Okay, so this is the first hour. This is the low, 210, and that was the high. And it was it was a strong bullish candle. Okay, so the next hour it broke, then the next hour it was going kind of inside bar, but we got at least 2 hours of a strong move up. Okay, if you see here, the previous day also the same thing. We had a strong bullish candle, we went up, but we were barely breaking, but still we were going up. But here in decision, you can clearly see the difference when we start with a strong bullish candle or a strong bearish candle compared to when you start with an indecision candle. Okay, so that first hour for people who are not very good in, you're not very good in picking stocks to trade, or you're not good in entry and exit, look at the first hour candle. What is that stock doing? So if you have, let's say you have stocks on your watch list, okay, then the first hour, you want to see what did that stock do in the first hour. So this was an indecision candle. So SMCI on this day, we had an indecision candle, the first hour, the tiny wick, and the size of the wick matters. This one was a very tiny rejection. And then we had another, the high was here. Then the second hour, if it's rejecting the first hour low, and then it breaks above, it has told you the intention. The intention is it wants to go higher. Okay, so it went up. This is the first hour. The next hour, it broke above the high. Okay, so it's already told you it rejected this and broke above the high. So it's already telling you what to expect for the rest of the day. And we had this stock going up the rest of the day. Okay, then look at indecision. Indecision, so here we had a strong bearish candle. This was the high. This was the low. Then it broke below. It rejected the high, creating a lower high. That's what you want for a bearish candle. And then it broke below this, telling you what to expect. And we saw this stock going down. So when it's a strong bearish candle or a strong bullish candle, that's the stock you want to look at, because it's giving you some kind of hope. The first hour is important. That's when we have a volume picking up. We have people getting interested in a stock and everything else. So the first hour, very important what happens with that stock. Okay, so you can see here the first hour is indecision, and what happened, it went up and then we came down. Okay, here we had indecision candles the whole day, all the rest of the day, creating inside bar. Okay, then here we had, so this is another example. We had indecision, yes, so this was the low and this was the high. Okay, so the second hour, it's an inside bar. And then the third hour, it went to break above the first hour high. So it's telling you, look at me. So you can even set alert on the first hour high and the first hour low. it broke above it, telling you, I want to go up, and that's what it did. It went up. So yes, you can start with the indecision. If it rejects the first hour low and breaks above the first hour high, then it's already communicating to you what the intention is. Okay, if you look here, indecision went sideways, and then SMCI another day, we had a strong, very reject. You can see the wick, you can barely see it. Okay, if it's not a long rejection wick, if it's this tiny, look at that stock. Then the next hour, what happened? It rejected the low and went to break it. Then the rest of the day, it went up. Okay, so whatever stock you're trading, that first hour, very important to tell you. If it's indecision, just know the rest of the day, probably high chances. You see here, we went down. Then inside band, it was going sideways because the first candle was indecision. Here we had a doji indecision, went up, but the rest of the day it was going sideways. So here we had, so this day we had a indecision the first hour, but the next hour it broke below it. So when it broke below it, it told you the intention. So it went lower, but it was already in decision. We saw it now hit 741, and then it started going back up. Okay. Another example, you can look at every stock, you'll see the first hour determined the trend for that day. Indecision, 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 indecision. Indecision, 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 indecision. So here we had indecision, yes. Okay, draw a line. We had indecision, but the next hour it broke above it. Even if it's a week, it told you what it wanted. It broke above it and it rejected the first hour low. So it was telling you the direction, and that's what we saw, Apple going up. Okay, the next day, it was a strong bearish candle here and here. And then it was going inside, but finally we had this hour, it broke below the low and almost close to the end of the day. Then yesterday, what happened? A strong bullish candle, very strong one. The next hour rejected the low and went to break. So it was telling you where Apple wanted to go. That, no, when is this? Oh, this is May. This is June. Then it kept going up the whole day. And if a stock is trending above the 1 hour high, it is a clear indication. If you want to swing, you can leave a runner. You can take profit and leave a runner. Why? Because the rest of the day, it was trading above the high of the first hour. So this is telling you there's a possible breakout. There's a possible chance of a breakout. The next day, the same thing. We were trading. So this was the high, this was the low, and this was the high, and it was a strong bullish candle. And that's the day Apple hit 220. Okay. The next day, indecision. What happened the rest of the day? Indecision, indecision, indecision. Indecision went up, then came down last hour. Indecision went down barely, then goes sideways. Indecision, so you want to know if it breaks below. So here it broke below, then it went lower. Indecision, it broke below, but the rest of the day you can see sideways. Okay, we had indecision. Then what happened? Went up and then came down, indecision. And then here we had indecision, barely small candle. If you look at the candle, very dwarfy, already telling. If you're seeing dwarfy candles, just an indication what that stock is going to give you. Then we had indecision here. So you want to see if it breaks below it, then it went lower. Then here we had a strong bullish candle, no indecision, the first hour. And then we broke above it. And then this was yesterday. We had indecision, but the next hour we broke above it. But look at the candles, very dwarfy. So when you're seeing dwarfy candles, yes, we went from 215 to 220. We broke above it, but very dwarfy candles. The range is not, the candles are not making huge ranges. So it means there was not a lot of buying pressure. When the candles are that dwarfy, there's not a lot of buying pressure. So we had a lot of people taking profit at that 220. I'm sure some people, when they saw Apple going to 220, they got excited and they're like, oh, we're going up to 250. Then they bought or whatever. And then what happened? It pulled back. So there was a lot of profit taking. So there was not a lot of buying. Not many people are buying. So it makes the candles dwarfy. If you're not having a lot of pressure for buying, the candles are dwarfy. And that's why such a stock, you're not gonna say you're swinging confidently, because of course we had this indecision the first hour. Okay, any other stock you can look at. So bearish, let's look at DPZ. It was a bearish DPZ, since it had this 535 double top, it rejected going to that 540 previous high. If you look, so here it had a strong bearish candle and then went down and then came back up. The next day, the same thing, strong bearish candle, continued down. Indecision, went sideways. This was a bullish candle, but look at, this was not a strong one. Look at the close. The close was almost, so this is a hammer. When you see a hammer, an inverted hammer is a bearish reversal. The people rejected the price at the top. It came almost closing to where it opened. So this is an inverted hammer. It's a bearish reversal candlestick. Okay, the next day, a strong bearish candle continued down. We had sideways. We had indecision, but you see, broke below it. So this one was indecision, but the next hour, it broke below it. So what was it telling you? I want to go lower. It went lower, and this stock is still dropping. Okay, first hour, just first hour, you can clearly pick the stocks to trade for that day just based on the first hour. Okay, these lines of mine. So this is MSTR first hour. This is the first hour. The next hour broke below it. What happened the rest of the day? It continued down because this was a strong bearish candle. Then indecision, went sideways. Okay. Then this day we had indecision. So if you bring here, this one here, and then this one here, the next hour it broke, even if it's slightly, it already told you the direction it wanted to go because it broke below the low, and then we saw it coming down. Okay, yesterday we had indecision, and then it broke below it. So if you want to know which stock am I supposed to be trading, that first hour, QQQ, very strong bullish, first hour candle. The next day, the next hour rejected the low and broke above it. So that's the stock you are trading. But look at this day, indecision, went up, came down. Okay, this was a strong bullish candle, but look at the rest of the hour. It broke below it, and then so it was indecision the rest of the day, as despite us having a strong bullish candle. The next hour, it didn't go to the high, slightly broke the low, then broke the low, then when after that it was just indecision. Okay, indecision, that's the first hour. Okay, but the next hour broke below it. So it told you the direction. It broke below it, never went back up. It broke below. Even if it's a week, it already told you the decision. And then we saw it going lower. This previous day, we have indecision, 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 indecision. Here we had a strong bearish candle. Okay, the next hour it was inside bar, but then the third hour we broke below it. So it was telling you the direction went lower. Okay, so if you're having trouble with finding stocks to trade, so here this day we had indecision, but the next hour we broke above the high. Okay, telling you I want to go up. And what did it do? It went up. Okay, so I know sometimes the first hour can be confusing. So that's why if you're having trouble, then wait for the first hour and then mark your high of the first hour, the low, and then the stock will tell you what it wants to do. So even if it's in decision, then the second hour here, like this one, the second hour, it was still in decision. It neither went up to the high, neither went to the low. The third hour, the same thing, but the fourth hour, it broke below it. And then sometimes even if it's happening on the third hour, it means you might expect a certain move for power, lunch hour, power hour. Okay, so I thought I should mention this because I know some people are struggling. Some people saying, oh, this stock is not doing anything. Oh, I'm in calls. What happened the first hour? You might be forcing a stock to do what it's not supposed to do, and it's because the first hour was indecision. Okay, so you look at this GS on this day, it was indecision the first hour, but the next hour broke above it. So it's telling you, I want to go up. And sometimes it can still give you good points. So here, the first hour, it went to from 449 to 458, and then it rejected this. The second hour, it created a high low and broke above it. So it was telling you where it wanted to go. And then we saw it go all the way to 463. If it's a good stock with a good ATR, you might get good points out of that stock. Okay. So, and when a stock is giving you indecision, you guys know counting days. If a stock is giving you indecision for up to 3-6 days, just know something is going to happen. The more a stock gives you indecision, the higher chance it might pull back fast before it goes back up. So if you're seeing a lot of indecision, so like Lilly, it's just been indecision. I mean, we went higher, but indecision here, indecision. That's why we got this pullback. Okay, so if a stock is giving you a lot of indecision, then it's a clear sign. It's a clear sign that the market might be bearish fast. The sellers might win, or the buyers want to get that stock at a lower price before you see a move, a move up. Okay, so if a stock is trading above the first hour high, but the next day it's not holding above that first hour high, then just a lot of indecision. Just know you might be, and I even mentioned this Lilly was creating new high, barely. Like here we had 915. The next, so here we had 909, and then we went to 910 here, and then 915, then 916. When the high is becoming shorter and shorter, you can barely see the difference. That means people don't want this stock to go above this price. So you might be looking for a pullback first before you get that stock continuing up. So Lilly here gave us a slingshot setup yesterday because it broke below the previous day low and it had created a new high on Monday. But when it went up, it did not break this level. So today you're still looking at Lilly. If it doesn't go to this 916 or creates a lower high, then it means you might have a possibility of Lilly going to break this level. Okay, so first hour, I was just today So this is Lilly yesterday. We had this first hour. It was an indecision candle. But look at this week. So the size of the week also communicates to you. This stock went all the way down, but the close was up here. From 878, it closed at 892. Very strong rejection. Okay, so the rest of the candles, we had an inside bar creating a higher low, and then another higher low, higher low. So the rest of the day, it was creating higher lows, going up. So we want to see what it's gonna do today. Okay, trading using the first hour candle, just knowing what that stock, the intention of that stock, just based on the first hour. Okay, Moderna here, first hour on the 26th, very strong bearish candle. Okay, despite it being inside, it was already telling you the intention of this stock, especially because it was creating lower highs. And then finally we broke below it. And the next day we went even lower. Indecision went sideways. Indecision here. Okay, indecision touched the second hour, broke below it. But you can see when you have indecision, look at the size of the candles, very dwarfy. Then here we had a strong rejection at the top, okay? Okay, but it's still indecision, and the rest of the day you can see. So please look at the first hour and you can tell what that stock, the intention is, okay? The first hour. So for anyone who's not in a rush, you can just wait to see what that stock does the first hour, and then you can get a clear direction. Any questions? Augustine, how are you? Augustine. Okay. There are no questions. That's what I wanted to mention today. Not going to look at much. We're looking at the same stocks. So today is going to be a short day. So let's go see what the market has for us. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.